Peat, permafrost, carbon. What is peat? Peat forms over hundreds and thousands of years as plants grow, die, and pile up underwater in wet ecosystems like bogs and swamps. Peat formation. Year one. Dead vegetation falls into an open body of water, like a lake, forming a layer at the bottom. Year 50. Over decades, more layers of dead vegetation bury the first, partially filling the body of water and forming a wetland. New plants grow, die, and sink to the bottom, adding to the layers. Organic matter in the layers stay primarily intact, decomposing only very slowly. Year 1000. After hundreds or thousands of years, more layers of dead plants and sediment completely fill the wetland, forming a bog or swamp. Dense layers of this organic matter becomes peat. This submerged plant material does not decompose, get broken down completely, as often occurs in other ecosystems. Instead, the long chains of sugar molecules that make up the plant stay mostly the same way as they were when the plant was alive. The sugar molecules are made up of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen atoms. Over time, these plants pile up more and more, get packed together, and form peat. We know there's peat in the Arctic. Peat is found all over the world, including places like swamps in Florida, bogs in Ireland, and wet tropical forests in the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Central Africa. Altogether, peatlands account for about 3% of the 29% of Earth's surface covered by land masses. Heat, carbon, and energy. In places like Ireland, Finland, and Scotland, local people gathered peat from nearby bogs, stacked it dry, then burned it as fuel to cook and heat homes. Though the practice of burning peat for heating and cooking continues today, many places are now considering laws to restrict or regulate the use of peat for these purposes. Peatlands contain nearly 25% of the plant's soil carbon, twice as much as the carbon stored in soils around the world's forests. Peat in the Arctic. There are nearly 4 million square kilometers of peatland in the northern hemisphere, mostly in the Inuit homelands, or Arctic Circle. This includes part of Russia, Canada, Alaska, and Greenland. In total, peatlands in the Arctic region cover an area roughly one-third the size of the continental United States. The bogs and swamps where peat formed in the Arctic Circle are now mostly frozen, locked in permafrost. Permafrost comes from the word permanent, meaning everlasting, and frost, meaning frozen. Permafrost is a mix of rock, soil, ice, and peat on the surface of Earth that remains frozen for at least 2 years in a row. Until recently, it often stayed frozen for hundreds or thousands of years. Because of increased global temperatures, especially in the Arctic, permafrost is thawing. This exposes peat and other preserved organisms like woolly mammoths. Thawing can also lead to the release of carbon containing gases like carbon dioxide into the atmosphere.